Welcome to Deer Hunt Productions, the channel for videos about all your favorite horror media. I'm DaneCat33, and today we'll examine the first trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Yes, all 46 seconds of it, and theorize where the plot might be heading. Before we focus more on the shiny new animatronics, let's briefly discuss the original gang from the first film, and theorize how they'll transform into the iconic Withered Animatronics. These classic characters were strangely absent from the trailer, but we have some hints as to what will happen to them in the sequel. Five Nights at Freddy's ends with the animatronic crew remembering that Afton killed them. They rebel against him, spring-locking him in the yellow rabbit suit and dragging their killer's body away. After that, they're left to rot in the abandoned building, but only a couple minutes later in the film, Abby expresses interest in going to see them. It seems like the second movie is continuing from there. In the trailer, we see Abby riding a bike to the new Freddy's Pizzeria, which we'll discuss more when we talk about the toys. After this, we don't see much of Abby outside or even inside the establishment. Still, we can assume she goes inside to fix the animatronics from the first movie. The next shot in the trailer shows Mike taking a note off the inside of his front door that reads, "Gone to fix my friends," clearly implying Abby has gone to repair the animatronics from the first film. We've seen some behind the scenes images showing the Withered Animatronics under construction, so we know they'll be using their appearance from the second game, which doesn't match up with their classic designs used in the first film. I think Abby repairing her friends will be how the film transitions between these designs. Abby will go back to Freddy's and fix the animatronics using the suits and parts from the older models, making them look very different. FNAF games frequently have design changes with almost no explanation, but I don't think that would work with a live-action movie. Hence why I think the Withered Animatronics' new designs will be explained away by Abby using these parts to repair them. Ignoring those gross old guys, let's focus on the new toy animatronics. These shiny stalkers were first introduced in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, having been created for Freddy's grand reopening. These characters were designed with security in mind.
They're all tied into some kind of criminal database so they can detect a predator a mile away.
However, this may or may not be Phasma Entertainment propaganda to explain their possessed behavior. After the events of the game, they were scrapped due to malfunctions, while the classic animatronics were refurbished for the location we see in the first game. Throughout the trailer, the toys are causing mayhem, killing people outside the pizzeria, even this poor old couple here. Mangle's breaking into houses, Toy Bonnie's taking a note out of Michael Myers' journal, and stabbing people with screwdrivers. Just overall havoc from this group of plastic killers, not to be confused with the plastic good guy killers. Anyways, it seems like these characters originate from yet another abandoned Freddy's location. The building from the trailer and behind the scenes videos from YouTubers such as Daco shows it looking decrepit, so it clearly isn't a new location. We can easily explain this by looking at the game's plot. This Freddy's is the original location where Afton murdered the kids from the first film. After their deaths, the toy animatronics were created to prevent any further tragedies by using their advanced criminal database. However, Afton murdered even more kids who possessed the toy animatronics, and the establishment was closed. Afterwards, the location from the first film was opened, using the original animatronics. This would match up with what happens in the first two games, and while it's a little convoluted, as I've been saying for years, so is the story of Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't think it makes sense that the toy's location would be opened after the first movie, since again, the location looks pretty old. However, it might have opened after the Freddy's from the first film closed, but I think it makes more sense to follow the layout of Freddy's closing and openings from the original games. We also see a Balloon Boy toy in the first movie, so it's reasonable to think that he would already exist by the time the first film's location was opened. Regardless, the biggest question I have is, what are the toys up to? We see them mindlessly killing people, but of course, since this is the trailer, we don't get the full story. The most interesting location they appear at is a school. The scene with Toy Chica pulling the teacher through a door clearly takes place at a school, judging from the water fountain, posters, all the doors, and those cold, dead brick walls. I think Toy Chica being at a school is a fun nod to Toy Chica the high school years from Ultimate Custom Night, but I also think it's important to the film's plot. While the animatronics are just causing general chaos, it seems like they're intentionally going after Abby, Mike, and Vanessa. All these other victims are likely just caught in the crossfire. So Toy Chica being at school is probably her going after Abby, but unfortunately, this poor, underpaid staff member gets attacked instead. Totally random, but I was just thinking, I wonder if Toy Chica has the removable beak and eyes like she does in the game. That would be awesome if so. That look in the game is always so creepy. Anyways, I'm not exactly sure why the toys would be going after our trio from the first film. but using the amazing power of reading, we can form an educated guess. The second novel in the Silver Eye series, The Twisted Ones, might help explain this. In that entry, Afton is spring-locked and trapped inside Freddy's, but he's still able to control the Twisted Animatronics systems. He commands them to capture the main character, Charlie, which sends them on a murder spree through town, killing people as they make their way towards her. Something similar may be happening in this film. Afton, still trapped in Spring Bonnie, is commanding the toys to kill the people responsible for his defeat in the first film. I'd say this is quite likely, considering how much the first film was already based on the novel trilogy. Also, taking Afton's character into mind, it's clear this is something he would do. While on the subject of the Silver Eyes trilogy, we can't not talk about our main girl, Charlie Emily, who, as you may know, in the games, possesses none other than the Marionette. The Marionette, often called the Puppet by fans, is a character who is yet to be revealed in the movie, but with all these hints, it's pretty obvious she'll be present. Almost everything has hinted at her involvement, from the post-credits scene in the first film echoing her minigames, to her music box being the theme of the trailer. We'll definitely see the Marionette in this film, but her role is currently unclear. As stated earlier, in the game universe, the Marionette is possessed by Charlie, the daughter of Henry, the man who founded Freddy's with William Afton. But unfortunately, Afton murdered her just right outside of one of the Freddy's locations, likely Fredbear's. The Marionette was designed to protect her, but having failed its mission, all it could do was collapse next to her body, succumbing to the rain and powering down. From there, Charlie's soul possessed the Marionette. Later, she helped Afton's victims possess their animatronic bodies so they could seek revenge against their killer. She appears in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 as a main antagonist and a recurring character throughout the minigames, so it makes sense that she'd be a major character in the film too. It's possible that she'll be the voice of reason to the toy animatronics, convincing them to stop going after the human trio. To back this up, in the games, the Marionette is shown to be on a different level of understanding than the other bots, with her quote from Ultimate Custom Night.
The others are like animals, but I am very aware.
So maybe while the toys are killing people, either because of their confusion or influence from Afton, the Marionette will be more aware of what's going on. Maybe not participating in their murder spree or even trying to stop them. Speculation aside, we've gotten one hint as to the Marionette's role in this film, that being the Fast Talker. As I mentioned earlier, the first film ends with a reference to the Puppets minigames, with a voice spelling out, "Come find me." In a teaser for the film, revealed on Daco's charity stream, we see a green device with Toy Freddy's face on it, called a Fast Talker. It seems like Abby will use this, based on the fact that what seems to be one of her drawings appears nearby the device. It's likely she'll find this when exploring the abandoned second Freddy's. It's speculated the Marionette is using this device to communicate with Abby, and it's the source of the mysterious voice in the credits. I agree with this idea. I think the Marionette could be trapped at the second Freddy's and needs Abby's help to escape. Maybe Afton knew about her awareness all along, and was worried she could interfere with his control over the animatronics. So, subsequently, he trapped her. And now she needs Abby to free her so she can calm down the animatronics and put a stop to their crimes. Speaking of which, something else I hope is expanded upon in this film is Abby's mysterious connection to Freddy's ghosts. In the first film, it's revealed she knew the ghost kids before Mike worked at Freddy's, which is evident through her drawings. Yet, it's never explained how or why this is. The ghost kids want Abby so they can turn her into the Ella animatronic, and presumably they're being commanded by Afton. Maybe Afton is behind her connection to the kids. It's possible he sent their spirits out to find her. However, it seems like he didn't know about Mike being nearby until he interviewed him, which throws a wrench into this theory. If Abby is being recruited by the puppet to help her, this would further strengthen her connection to Freddy's spirits, so maybe we'll get a proper explanation as to why she's so close to them. Quick input from Blake on this theory. She said it's possible Abby's relation to Garrett, and the likelihood of him possessing a Freddy's animatronic, may give him some special power to allow Abby to see the ghost, presumably in her dreams just like Mike, but without the drawback of having to be at the pizzeria. The movie does reveal that Abby can see the ghost kids, even outside of Freddy's. Hopefully we get an explanation for the supernatural connection. Going back to the Afton discussion, before the trailer, we got some behind the scenes pictures of him and Vanessa at a house, presumably his. And in the trailer, from what little we can see, he seems to be standing in said house in the same attire. Later there's a shot of him grabbing a knife while suited up in the Yellow Rabbit costume. These scenes appear to be flashbacks or trauma-induced hallucinations from Vanessa, considering he's spring-locked in the present. We'll probably learn more about him manipulating Vanessa during the first movie, especially since it seems like Vanessa and him are together in these scenes. I'm pretty sure the scene with him grabbing the knife is him preparing to attack Mike at the end of the first film, considering he's in costume and grabbing the knife we see him using. Last, but certainly not least, YouTooz. YouTooz has already announced the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 wave of merch. Shortly after the trailer was released, they posted an image of an incredible toy Freddy figure. The toys are over a decade old and have hardly received any merch. The closest we've come to getting figurines of them is Funko's FNAF AR wave. So to finally get a wave of toy-matronics is awesome. YouTooz is also working on toy-matronic merch, but I'm more familiar with YouTooz. We already got some really good looking Mangle and Marionette figures with the Withered YouTooz Wave, so I can't wait to get a full set of the toys. YouTooz did also announce that William Afton plushie will be part of the FNAF Movie 2 wave as well. Speaking of which, you know who else is getting a plushie? Yeah, YouTooz also announced we're getting a Tiger Rock plushie. Merch and mimic tangent aside, I can't wait for this movie. I was really concerned a sequel would be too much like the first movie, but I'm glad to see it's something wildly different. I can't wait to see this chaotic looking story unfold on December 5th. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share, and consider supporting us and our future projects. Special thanks to Shaun toit for supporting us through our channel's membership. If you want shoutouts in our videos too, then consider supporting our membership. It gets you a ton of cool perks like shoutouts in our videos and descriptions, custom emojis and badges next to your name, exclusive updates, priority replies to comments, and if possible, you'll be the first to see our newest videos. You can also buy a one-time super thanks to help show your support. Thanks for watching, and check out some of our other videos.